All right, look, everybody talk. Everybody's saying something. But in this life, I learned words don't move nothing. It's energy that tell the truth. You can hear somebody tell you they love you 1,000 times, but if the energy off, you're gonna feel it before you even process it. That gut feeling, that's your spirit letting you know what your ears ain't ready to hear yet. See, people mastered the art of talking. They know what to say, how to sound deep, how to sound loyal, how to sound real. But what they can't fake is the vibe that follow their words. You can't lie with your frequency. You can't disguise your intentions through your tone. Energy exposes what words try to hide. I've done met people who said all the right things, but their energy felt heavy, manipulative, jealous. You ever been around someone who smiled in your face, but your soul felt uncomfortable? That's energy telling you, yo, something don't align here. And on the other hand, you meet people who barely speak, but they give off peace, respect, and authenticity without even trying. That's how you know energy speaks louder than language. You can't build real connections based on words. Words is like smoke, they fade. Energy is like fire, it burns through every mass. You want to know who real. Watch how you feel around them. Watch what happens to your focus, your peace, your vision when they walk in the room. Some people drain you without touching you. Others recharge you without saying a word. That's the difference between talkers and builders. I see a lot of people get fooled because they listen too much and feel too little. They want to believe what sounds good instead of trusting what feels real. But everything that sounds good ain't solid. Sometimes I love you mean I need something from you. Sometimes I got you mean as long as it benefits me. That's why discernment is rare. Most people don't listen to energy, they listen to ego. You can tell how aligned somebody is by how consistent their energy stays. See, real ones don't switch up. Their energy match their words day after day, storm after storm. But the fake ones, they fluctuate with convenience. When you're up, they support it. When you fall, they vanish. Their loyalty got conditions and their energy exposes it every time. That's why I move how I move. I don't chase validation, I read energy. I don't judge people off what they post, what they claim, or how they dress. I look at how they make others feel, how they handle pressure, how they act when nobody's watching. That's the real resume. The loudest ones talk about loyalty, but loyalty ain't said, it's shown. You don't gotta announce realness when it's in your DNA. A lion don't explain he's a lion. He just moves like one. Real people don't talk about what they are. Their energy proves it before their mouth do. And look, when you start moving with pure energy, you're gonna lose people. You're gonna make folks uncomfortable because truth got a frequency that fake can't tolerate. The moment you stop feeding false connections, your circle gets smaller, but your peace get bigger. Don't fight that. That's elevation. It's like this energy is currency. The people around you are either deposits or withdrawals. If somebody constantly leaves you drained, uninspired, anxious, that's a debt you can't afford to pay no more. Protect your spirit like your bank account. You wouldn't let someone take your money, so why let them take your energy? And when you finally start protecting your vibe, you're gonna see how quiet peace really is. No more fake laughter, no forced conversations, no mixed signals. You start gravitating toward people who move with purpose, people who inspire you without even trying, people who don't compete, they contribute. That's real energy exchange. So yeah, words got power, but only when they're aligned with action. Talk is free, energy costs effort. You can't fake that kind of investment. You can't pretend consistency. When somebody's energy is solid, you feel it before you understand it. That's divine alignment, something you can't buy or imitate. At the end of the day, all that matters is how your presence makes the room feel. Do you bring light or confusion? Do you build or drain? You teach people how to treat you by the energy you keep. So keep it real, keep it clean, keep it grounded. Don't talk real, be real. Because when the words fade and the lights dim, the only thing that still speaks is energy. And that's the one thing you can't fake. All right, let's talk about something that's real out here. Attention. That's the new currency. It ain't dollars, it ain't crypto, it's eyes, clicks, validation. Everybody fighting to be seen, but few got something worth looking at. We living in a world where people don't chase purpose no more, they chase attention. And the crazy part, they'll sell their soul for it, piece by piece, one post at a time. See, attention feel like power. When people look your way, it make you feel important, but that's a temporary high. It don't build nothing, it just feeds ego. It's like sugar for the soul, sweet for a second, but it don't nourish nothing. And when you build your worth around attention, you end up broke in every other way. Emotionally, spiritually, mentally. You can tell when somebody addicted to attention. They don't move for growth, they move for applause. Every picture, every word, every move they make is calculated for reaction, not progress. And that's dangerous because when you depend on attention to feel alive, you start shape-shifting just to stay relevant. You stop being yourself and start performing for validation. It's wild because we see it every day. Folks posting pain online, turning heartbreak into hashtags. They don't heal in private no more. They perform their trauma for views. But what they don't realize is that attention without purpose is poison. They make you feel seen, but never understood. It feeds your ego while starving your spirit. You got to peak game. Attention is a market. Platforms profit off your insecurity. The more you crave attention, the more they control you. They train you to chase likes instead of legacy. They got people thinking being viral mean you valuable, but that's cap. Real value don't come from screens, it comes from what you build when nobody's watching. See, purpose don't need an audience. Discipline don't need claps. But attention junkies don't know that. They can't sit in silence because silence reminds them they don't really love themselves yet. They only feel alive when somebody else is looking. That's a sad way to exist, homie. Always performing, never living. When you meet a person who feeds off attention, peep how inconsistent they energy be. One day they humble. Next day they flexing. 1 minute they talking about loyalty. Next minute they moving like they forgot what respect even mean. That's cause attention make you forget yourself. It trick you into thinking image is identity. But here's the truth. Attention fade. The same crowd that cheer you today gonna scroll past you tomorrow. The same people who say, I see you, gonna switch up the moment someone shinier comes along. That's why you can't let your self-worth depend on strangers. If your confidence need validation, then it ain't confidence, it's dependency. Real confidence don't scream for attention, it attracts it naturally. When you solid in your lane, when you focus on building something timeless, people can't ignore that. That's the difference between fame and legacy. Fame need eyes on it. Legacy build roots deep enough to stand when nobody clapping. And yo, I seen it in relationships too. Some people stay loyal to attention, not their partner. They flirt, they post, they seek that outside validation because they never learn to validate themselves. They say they love you, but what they really love is how you make them look. That's why they never satisfied because attention got no bottom. The more you feed it, the hungrier it get. You got to understand attention ain't bad by itself. It's what you do with it that count. If you get attention, use it to build, to teach, to create impact. Don't let it use you. The goal ain't to be seen, it's to be respected. Respect lasts longer than attention ever will. So move with intention, not desperation. You don't need the world to see you. You need your vision to see the world. Stop spending your energy trying to prove you're something. Just be it. The real one's gonna notice anyway. When you stop chasing attention, your energy shifts. You start attracting people who respect your peace more than your posts. You start seeing progress instead of performance. You start feeling whole again. So don't sell your soul for a spotlight. Build your light within. Because the shine that comes from self-awareness can't be dimmed by nobody. Attention gonna fade, hype gonna die. But when your purpose solid, your name live long after the noise disappear. Stay grounded, stay focused. Don't let them turn your hunger for greatness into a thirst for attention. Real power ain't in being seen, it's in what you do when the lights go off. All right, let's keep it real. Everything you build in life come down to the foundation. If that foundation cracked, it don't matter how pretty the walls look, how expensive the furniture is, or how bright the lights shine. It's only a matter of time before it all collapses. And that's what most people don't understand about relationships, business, or even themselves. You can't build solid results on broken roots. You can't expect loyalty, peace, or growth from a place that was never healed. See, a broken foundation don't always look broken at first. Sometimes it look confident, attractive, successful. But underneath all that shine is trauma, fear, insecurity, and pain that never got addressed. People out here building futures on top of past they never made peace with. They cover wounds with lifestyle. They call dysfunction normal. They think moving on means forgetting, not healing. But unhealed people don't move on. They just move around carrying the same pain into new spaces, new faces, new chapters. When your foundation crack, everything you build gonna wobble. You start attracting the same cycles, same type of people, same kind of pain, just in different forms. It's like life, keep rerunning the same lesson until you stop running from yourself. You can change cities, change partners, change careers, But if you don't change your mindset, you're going to end up rebuilding the same chaos over and over again. You see it in relationships all the time. People get together out of loneliness, not wholeness. They want love to fix what they too scared to face. But love can't heal what you refuse to acknowledge. If your foundation weak, if your heart's still holding resentment, your mind still trapped in insecurity, your spirit still searching for validation, then that relationship already got cracks before it even starts. You can't pour new water into a dirty glass and expect it to stay pure. A lot of people talk about loyal, but they ain't loyal to themselves first. How you gonna be solid with somebody else when you still shaky inside? How you gonna trust love when you still at war with your reflection? That's why the real work ain't finding somebody new, it's rebuilding yourself, brick by brick, truth by truth, acceptance by acceptance. You gotta be honest about your pain. You gotta dig deep and face the parts of you that you keep hiding from the world. The nights you felt unworthy, the moments you got betrayed, the times you lost faith in yourself, that's where the cracks start. And until you seal them with awareness, forgiveness, and growth, you just gonna keep covering them with distractions. And look, that healing ain't pretty. It ain't some Instagram quote or cute therapy post. It's messy, it's lonely, it's quiet nights with no validation, no applause, no audience. It's you facing the mirror and accepting everything you tried to bury. But that's where real strength comes from, not from avoiding pain, but from understanding it. People are afraid to break down, but sometimes breaking down is the only way to rebuild, right? When a building collapses, architects don't stack new floors on top of the rubble, they clear the debris first. That's what healing is. It's demolition before reconstruction. You gotta tear down the lies you told yourself. You gotta know who hurt you without letting them control your story. You gotta learn that peace ain't given, it's built. And when you finally rebuild that foundation, right, everything changed. You stop looking for people to complete you. You start attracting people who match you. You stop over-explaining yourself to folks who ain't ready to understand you. You stop protecting your energy like it's sacred, because it is. You stop rushing life and start aligning with it. The truth is, every broken foundation got a story behind it. Maybe you grew up around chaos. Maybe you trusted the wrong people. Maybe you never had guidance. But you can't let that become your forever excuse. You can't stay stuck in your origin story. You gotta rewrite it. You gotta take accountability for your healing even if you didn't cause the damage. That's how you take your power back. Because when your foundation's strong, storms can hit and you still stand tall. People can walk away and you don't crumble. Life can test you and you don't fold. You stop building from fear and start building from purpose. You move different. You love different. You live different. So yeah, it's easy to blame others, to point fingers at what broke you. But real growth comes when you ask, what part of me allowed it to keep happening? That question right there, that's the start of a new foundation. At the end of the day, what's built on pain will always crack. But what's built on truth, on healed energy, on self-respect, on real discipline, that's the kind of structure that lasts generations. Fix your foundation first. Everything else gonna rise from there. All right, let's get into it. Power, not the type that come from money, followers, or who talk the loudest. I'm talking about the power that live in how you move, how you carry yourself, how you handle situations that test your patience and your pride. That's where real control exists. Power ain't something you flex, it's something you maintain. And when you understand that, you stop letting people pull you out of your position. See, every connection got a power dynamic. Relationships, friendships, business. It's all energy exchange. Somebody leading, somebody following, or sometimes both moving in balance. The problem is, most people don't even realize when they're giving their power away. They start compromising too much, explaining too much, loving too blind, and before they know it, they're not in control of their peace no more. They're letting someone else dictate their mood, their focus, their value. That's what happens when you start needing people more than you need yourself. The moment you start chasing approval, the moment you start begging for clarity, you already losing position. Power comes from detachment, not coldness, but control. It's knowing that you can care deeply without depending on nobody to make you whole. You ever notice how some people move with quiet confidence? They don't argue, they don't overreact, they don't need to prove nothing. That's because they understand energy. And no silence can be louder than words, and distance can say more than a whole paragraph. They play chess, not checkers. While everybody else busy reacting, they're observing. While others fall into emotion, they stay grounded in vision. That's real power, composure under chaos. And in relationships, that's where it gets tricky. It's when love come in, Ego usually follow. Somebody always testing the balance, who care more, who got control, who holding back. But love built on control ain't love, it's competition. And when ego start driving the connection, loyalty get replaced by manipulation. You gotta understand, power and love don't mean domination, it means respect. If both people respect each other's individuality, that's balance. But the moment one person start playing mind games to feel important, that foundation start cracking. Real power don't need to belittle, it uplifts. It creates space for both to grow. But when one person insecure, they start using emotion as leverage. They weaponize silence, affection, attention, anything to keep the upper hand. That's not power, that's fear in disguise. And if you stay in that environment too long, you start losing yourself trying to keep peace. You forget your word just to avoid losing them. But that's the trap. The more you chase validation, the more they control the pace. That's why you gotta be grounded before you connect with anyone. If your identity depends on how someone else see you, you're already handing over control. You gotta walk into every bond as a whole person, not half of one hoping to be completed. You teach people how to treat you by what you tolerate. If you keep allowing disrespect, silence, or manipulation, that's the level of respect you setting for yourself. I learned that power ain't about what you can take, it's about what you can walk away from. You don't win by fighting every battle, you win by knowing which ones deserve your energy. Sometimes the most powerful move is no move at all. Just walk away and let peace speak for you. And yo, don't confuse power with pride. Pride comes from ego. It's loud, fragile, defensive. Power comes from awareness. It's calm, strategic, focused. Pride want to win arguments. Power want to win outcomes. Pride scream, I'll show you. Power whisper, I'll outgrow you. That's the difference. Even in business, same rule applies. You can't negotiate from desperation. You can't expect respect when you don't demand it internally first. You set the tone. You teach people what's acceptable. If you enter every room knowing who you are, nobody can redefine that for you. Power comes from clarity, knowing your purpose so deep that no offer, no attention, no loss can shake your alignment. So protect your energy, because that's your leverage. When you move with discipline, people got to meet you on your frequency. They can't pull you down to theirs. Don't give your peace for comfort. Don't give your focus for validation. At the end of the day, power is balance. The art of knowing when to hold on and when to let go. It's not about controlling others. It's about controlling yourself. The moment you master that, you're unstoppable. Nobody can play you when you stop playing yourself. Real power don't shout, it shows up, stands tall and stays solid no matter who switch up. That's the kind of energy that lasts longer than trends, longer than hype, longer than fake love. Control your energy, protect your boundaries, and let your moves speak for themselves. That's power, silent, steady, and undeniable. Look, everything in life gonna reflect what you see in yourself. That's the mirror effect. You can't expect loyalty, peace, or love from the world if you don't give that same energy to yourself first. Self-respect is the mirror that shows you who you really are. Not the version you post, not the version people project, but the version that show up when nobody's watching. And the truth is, most people are scared of that reflection. They scared to face how much they've been tolerating, how much they've been accepting from people that don't value them. See, the way you treat yourself set the price tag for how the world gonna treat you. If you keep discounting your worth, don't be surprised when people treat you like clearance. You teach others what's acceptable by what you allow. If you let people play with your time, your energy, your peace, they're gonna keep doing it because you showed them they can't. Self-respect ain't about ego, it's about boundaries. It's about knowing when to say no without feeling guilty. It's about not shrinking yourself just to make somebody else comfortable. You ever notice how when you start respecting yourself, you lose people? That's not loss, that's alignment. When you start moving with standards, the ones who benefit from your confusion gonna fall away. They're not used to the new version of you that ain't begging for validation. They miss the old you that accepted less just to keep peace. The peace built on disrespect ain't peace, it's survival. And once you wake up from that, you realize that loneliness with self-respect feel better than company with disrespect. A lot of people chase relationships or friendships hoping somebody gonna show them their value, but that's backwards. You can't attract what you don't already believe about yourself. If you feel unworthy inside, you're gonna pull in people who treat you like you disposable. If you move like your time ain't valuable, folks gonna waste it without guilt. That's why self-respect comes first. It's the filter that protects your spirit. You can tell how much somebody respects themselves by how they respond to disrespect. Do they argue, beg, or walk away? Real self-respect ain't loud, it's quiet power. It's saying I ain't gotta explain why I'm leaving. I just know my peace worth more. That's growth. That's strength. When you reach that point, you stop reacting and start choosing. You stop defending your worth and start living it. But self-respect ain't something you just wake up with. It's built through lessons. Every time you ignore your intuition, every time you accept less than you deserve, life gonna remind you what that call feel like. And eventually you get tired of paying that bill. You get tired of feeling drained, misunderstood, and used. That's when the switch flips. That's when you realize peace ain't found in other people. It's built inside. And once you start moving different, you start attracting different. People treat you how you treat you. When you stop explaining yourself, you attract people who understand you without words. When you stop chasing, you attract what's meant to stay. When you stop selling, the universe stop testing and start blessing. That's the mirror work. Everything reflect back. But don't confuse self-respect with pride. Pride say, I don't need nobody. Self-respect say, I don't need disrespect. Pride block connection, self-respect protected. You can love somebody deeply and still walk away if it costs your peace. You can forgive people and still never give them the same access again. That's not bitterness, that's wisdom. And self-respect don't just show up in how you deal with others, it's how you deal with yourself. It's keeping promises you make to your own soul. If you say you're gonna start something, follow through. If you say you're done with something, don't go back. That's how you build trust within. That's how your spirit learn you serious about your growth. Most people break their own boundaries more than anyone else ever could. They talk about respect, but disrespect themselves daily. Staying in environments that drain them, entertaining people that don't value them, dreaming small when they build for more. Real talk, you can't preach loyalty and live without integrity. You can't demand love if you keep abandoning yourself. That's why everything outside of you gonna mirror what's inside. When your self-respect's solid, you stop needing to prove your worth. You walk different, talk different, love different. You move with purpose instead of desperation. And that kind of energy, it commands respect without asking for it. At the end of the day, self-respect ain't about how loud you say I'm real. It's about how quiet you stay when people test you. It's about walking away from the table when the cost of staying is your peace. It's about choosing your future over your feelings. Because when you finally respect yourself, everything and everyone that ain't on that level gonna reveal themselves. And that's not lost, that's clarity. You are the mirror. What you see in your world is what you project. So polish that reflection. Stand tall. Love yourself enough to set standards that don't bend. The moment you do, life start responding different. Everything start matching your frequency. Because the world can't give you what you don't give yourself first. Respect.